Hi, so this is Kevin. So today we're gonna do lesson number 3, which is about money. Uh, so this I actually don't have that much to say about this. Is when in the beginning, I have like no money. I was like poor, and through like personal development, whatever. I remember, there's one part that talks about like money. Okay, like, well, if you don't have money, then this is what you can do. Then, so I just took that very simply, and I just did something, and then I started making more money. Okay, so to me, this is just something very simple, but it's just that when I started to learn about like how to make more money, just when I started to like read more stuff and like listen to other people and then like talk to other people, and I realized that making money becomes like a pretty complicated things. But to me it's very simple, but there's just so many ways to approach it. Okay. I guess I feel like it worked out pretty well for me, because when I first started, it was just something very simple I did. So it works out well for me. But I can't imagine that if today I wanted to like find ways to make more money. Let's say I'm not happy with my income or whatever. Let's say if I have like aspiration, I want to be like rich and whatever. And I start to go on the internet, or I start to find some books, and I start to like just start to like research how you can make more money and blah 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 as an ordinary person. Okay, because making money is never an issue for like talented professional or like people who already have a vision of what they want to do. But of course, the people that always want to make money are ordinary people who didn't have money. So when these kind of people wanted to like look for stuff, which is kind of like me, started to like looking for stuff, and it was just such a mess. There's so much things out there. Okay, so it got very confusing. But really, what I want to say about making money is something very simple. I can just finish it in like 5 minutes. But I guess just to clear up some like confusion, so I will like just go through some couple things about money that just from while I was looking for ways to make more money, and then like how I feel about it after I just start to thinking about the situation, the economy, the ways that the wealthy and whatever, and then and I just have some thoughts about it, and this thing is just to clear up some confusion, because I feel like if you're not clear about like the real situation out there, about like how to like what making money is all about, then you will fall into a lot of traps. Basically, there's like a lot of traps. There's a lot of scam. Whenever that it requires money to make money, and if you don't know what's going on, then you will just do the first step. You just use money. But before you start making money, you just use the money. You just spend the money, you just waste the money, and you didn't see any money coming back. Okay, so yeah, it is kind of true that you use money to make money, but then most people just use the money and they never see the money coming back. Okay, so like I guess for this lesson, it's very unfortunate I had to spend a big part of it just talking about that, because I don't want people to like just be confused about it and then start do things. Because like when I would try to find something out there, they didn't tell you about all this kind of stuff, and they make it sound really good, and I can just really see the pitfall of that. Like people just like jump right into it without thinking about many things. Okay, so I think finance is it requires some discretion. It requires some discipline, because money is like has to do with your desire, your greed. So it's always a little bit hard to like keep that on like check. So it involves like a lot of things about like who you are and stuff. So it needs some information, and I hope that the information I talk about here can help you. Just like when I will try to look for something, there isn't anybody talk about this. So I just want to talk about it a little bit, just so you don't make like wrong decision. You'll be more careful, and then you will not like get over your head, and you'll think about stuff. Okay, but like I say, like making money is just such a sensitive subject that everybody have their opinion. So if you don't care about this, you can just skip to the last part, which is the way I use to generate more income, which only takes like 5 minutes to talk about because it's very easy. I really just did this for like 5 years, and I pretty much make all the money I wanted to make, and did everything I wanted to do. I didn't get rich from it, but I was pretty comfortable with the money I make, and that's another thing I want to talk about. Okay, that's one thing I want to talk about is how you find your comfort zone in how much money you make. Okay, so I'll just jump right into it. So one thing I want to talk about is socioeconomic status. Okay, so when you want to make more money, one thing you really have to look at is your own socioeconomic status. Okay, if you're homeless or you're poverty, so that's like below the socioeconomic class, you cannot do anything. Okay, the society have to help you, but once you start to generate income, let's say you just start generating income from like nothing, and then you start to making a little bit of income, then you are lower class. Okay, so when you are making money and consistently, then you become working class. Okay, so money comes in consistently, and then you start to have like monthly income, you get wages, and it becomes like some kind of stability happening, then you become a working class. Okay, so after working class, you become middle class. Okay, but you don't really become middle class from working class. Okay, working class is something that you can stay in working class forever if you want to, but all these different socioeconomic class just means that like how much money you're making. Okay, the people are making more money, then they become middle class. And if you're making more money than middle class, then you become upper class. Okay, and then if you're making more money than upper class, then you're considered wealthy. Okay, you basically have enough money to not care about money. Okay, there's just so much money that you don't have to care about money anymore. Okay, but upper class is already like wealthy, like you can make a lot of money. Well, if you're making a lot of money, you're pretty much upper class. Middle class is also very good money. The way the society is structured, based on my observation, is solely based on middle class. Okay, any kind of loan, any kind of like thing you want to buy, the interest rate, the any type of business expense and any kind of policy making is based on like middle class. Okay, so if you're making middle class income, then you can live pretty comfortable. Okay, you can even mess around with some of your money. When you're middle class, you just have so much resources. Like everything's just structured to fit your need. At that income level. Doesn't matter with investment. It doesn't matter is like rate of return. Doesn't matter like stock price. Everything's based on middle class. Okay, so middle class basically means that in the whatever society you're in, like for United States, for example, if you're middle class in the United States, it means that whatever is happening around you, you can afford to buy it. Okay, if you want to buy a car, you can buy a car. You want to eat good food, you can eat good food. You want to buy a house, you can buy a house. Like you want to send your kids to school, then yeah, you can afford that because like the tuition, everything is based on middle class. Okay, so working class is a little bit below that. So the society is not structured for working class. So working class actually have to struggle a little bit because everything's more than what the working class are making. Okay, so for working class, they have to struggle. They probably cannot send their kids to university, but they can go to a college. They probably cannot buy a brand new car, but they can buy a used car. So like everything's structured like a little bit above working class. So working class has to, work a little bit harder, but they can still manage. Okay, but the reason socio-economic class status is important is because you have to move from one class to another class. Okay, you cannot skip. Okay, so that's the problem I have with a lot of things out there. Like everyone's talking about like skipping. Okay, so if you're like lower class and then you're learning something and they're making the assumption that you can do something with your lower class financial status to all the way to like upper class or like wealthy. Okay, you can make investment from a working class financial status all the way to like upper class and wealthy. Okay, that is just not, based on my observation, that is just not true. It doesn't work like that. Okay, when you're lower class, once you start making money, you will become working class. And if you want to get out of working class, you have to increase your income until you become middle class. And when you are middle class, then you can do things which, within your financial power of middle class, you can do it. And then from that, you can generate more income from the investment you did from your middle class income status, and you become upper class. So it goes like that. Okay, so it doesn't skip. Okay, so the problem I have with a lot of like teaching and whatever is that they always tell you to skip. You go to this seminar, they'll tell you that do this, and then they skip. They tell you a story about like, oh, I used to live in my mother's basement, and I don't know what's with basement. Like everybody's poor, like live in the basement. Everybody, I live in my mother's couch or living under my sister's basement, and then I have no job. I was just laying on the couch, and always something about the couch, and then all of a sudden they become a millionaire. Okay, like I just tell you a lot of story about that. I don't know what's the point of this kind of story. Like I don't know why this kind of story will inspire you, because it doesn't work like that. It doesn't mean that, well, I sleep on the couch too, I live in the basement too, and so I can do the same thing. No, you cannot really do the same thing. Okay, so if you want to do it, then you have to skip, right? If you're lower class and you skip all the way to like upper class, or if you working class, skip all the way to like wealthy. Okay, so like you're playing this game like you're skipping. Okay, is it possible? It's possible. There's way to do that, but you really have to look at your financial situation in a modest fashion. Okay, like what you can do with your situation. Okay, so that's one thing I wanna talk about. Okay, so for very simple example, okay, for lower class people, let's just take immigrants for example. Okay, so let's say immigrant coming to the United States, they have absolutely no money. Okay, so they started working, I don't know, whatever, like restaurant, busboy, whatever. Okay, so they started making income. Okay, so when they arrive at this country, they're pretty much like lower class status. Okay, but for that, they can easily become working class once they find a job, once they find some, working, have a salary, have wages, and do it consistently, then they become working class. Okay, so once they have working class, they have more money, then the money is more stable. But working class is just what the name implies, is you work. Okay, you work a 9 to 5, and after that you work 9 to 5, and after that you work 9 to 5, like that's your life, you're working class. Okay, so when they're working class, okay, what do they have to do to become middle class? Okay, so it's not the same. So for this example, okay, let's say the immigrant parent, they become very hard working class. They're just making money every day, but they work 9 to 5. They make like 2-3 jobs, maybe like this. They're working really hard, and then they start asking themselves, okay, so I am making a lot of money, but I want to make like middle class income. Like, look at these people with their new car. Look at these people with their like houses, and they're buying this house, and then they're gonna buy another house later. Like how do I make money to do that? Okay, so they realize that in order to make that money, they need like, doesn't matter what it is, like a better career, better job, or like whatever. So they figured that, oh, maybe education is the key. So they will see that, oh, well, if I have a college degree, or if I have whatever, then I can, I can become an engineer, whatever, and can make a middle class income. Okay, so, but when they look into education, the cost of education, they'll realize that the university is not meant for working class people to go to university, because just simply the amount of tuition you have to pay, all the stuff you have to do, and then while you're doing the schooling, you don't have any time to work. So then you don't have income, when you don't work. So how can you afford school, right? So there's like other option they can do, like they can go to trade school, or they can like pursue some like special skill. Let's say I have a lot of friends who are like, they're cooks at restaurant, but they decided to just become an electrician, become a plumber, or become like IT or whatever. Anyway, they go to this some school, pay some money, sacrifice a couple years with no money. But later on, when they get the degree, they start to working for a company, whatever. They start to make like more income, like almost middle class income. Okay, but it's not quite there yet, but it's still like much better. And then from that, they can like, really make a career out of it. They can start their own business, whatever, because their money, they have more money. Okay, so you see like the transition from like from lower class to working class to middle class. It's like a step by step. It's like, okay, I'm working class, and all of a sudden I flip houses and then I make $1 million. Okay, like you can't even buy a house with like working class income. Okay, so it's not realistic. Okay, but let's say for another example, let's say that the hardworking immigrant parent, working class, decided to get married and whatever, have kids. So once they have children, their financial situation is pretty much done for, because they themselves will never have the opportunity to, do something great, because now they have kids. Okay, so not only they have to pay for themselves, but now they have to pay for their kids. So all their money, all their financial power is basically used for like starting a family. Okay, so is that bad? That's not bad. That just means that their kids starts from working class status. Okay, so their parents come in, they have nothing, they started from lower class, they become working class. The children, they then, when they're born into a working class family, they naturally have like, like supported by a working class family. So they don't have to go through, being a dishwasher and whatever. They can actually go to school. Okay, so when their kids get to go to school, which is paid for maybe by their parents or whatever, maybe they pay a little bit, get a student loan or whatever, but the financial power is there for the kids to go to school, because the parents are working class, they have money. Okay, instead of using it on themselves, try to like get ahead themselves to become middle class themselves, they don't have to do that anymore. They can just do it through their children. Their children from the working class will go to a university, and they'll become an engineer, a doctor, a lawyer, and whatever. Okay, then automatically your college degree or university degree, whatever job you want to have, those are automatically like middle class income jobs. Okay, so their children will start from working class, and then they'll move to middle class, and then from that, the next generation, when they get married, they will start families from middle class, and middle class their kids will do very well. They go to Harvard, and then and then they'll be on upper class. Okay, so this is called generational wealth. Okay, so from one generation to another generation. Okay, that's why it's like the pride of the immigrant, hardworking immigrant. I have their children, to go to Harvard or whatever, and then ended up working at Google later, right? This is a very typical story. But you see that like their parent, even though they work really hard, they themselves didn't become wealthy. but their children did. Okay, because it just from one economic class move to another. It cannot like your financial power it just limited. Okay, but your if you have children, then your children will start ahead of you. Okay, so that's what I mean, that like you have to look at the situation like realistically, like to jump from one economic class to another, like it's not realistic. Okay, the real situation is just that from one class to another class to another class and to another class. Okay, once you're middle class, it'll be easier for you to become upper class. Okay, once you're upper class, it'll be very, 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 very easy for you to become wealthy. Okay, but when you're working class, it'll be like difficult, a little bit more difficult to become middle class. Okay, and when you're lower class, you can become working class, but then you will struggle for many, many, many years. Okay, that's why for young people, when they're young, they really just have to think about what they want to do in the future. Okay, and the simplest thing as of now is just to education is a good way to acquire, to change your economic status, but it doesn't have to be that way. Okay, so right now I will talk about how to skip. Okay, so this is something that people argue about, like, oh, well, you're trading your time for your money, or you're working 9 to 5, I'm sick and tired of my job and I want to like financial freedom and whatever. So this is a thing in society where like there is a belief system where like you don't want to do the traditional way of getting wealthy. You want to like, oh, I don't have money now, but I can just do something and I'll have a lot of money all of a sudden. Okay, so this is a belief system in the society, and then whether this is true or not, well, it is true, but you have to see what is the truth behind it. Okay, these people are able to skip socioeconomic class, for a reason. Okay, it's not something that just happened for no reason. There's a reason it happens. Okay, so you have to be aware of those kind of things. Okay, so when I was trying to make more money and I started to encounter all these problems, and I realized that, yeah, I have to look at the situation realistically. Like, what is it that for me, what I can do to improve my situation? I cannot copy other people because they're not me. They're different from me. Okay, and I see the stuff they do. It is different from the stuff I do. Okay, so of course for those people who are making a lot of money, because they really deserve it, they did something that no one else did. Okay, so if you want to make money like them, you have to do the same thing. You have to do something that no one did traditionally. But you have to check yourself, like, are you those kind of people? Okay, and the society will make you believe that, oh yeah, you are those kind of people. Like, anybody can do it. If I can do it, you can do it, right? That's always the thing they say. Like, I'm not smart, but I did it, so you can do it. Okay, so they ingrain this like belief system in you, so you will like invest your time and energy to like think you can achieve something. Okay, but the you can try it, but I'm telling you, you don't have to try. There's other ways to do that. You don't have to try to skip the social class system. You can do it traditionally. It's pretty good. It's okay. Okay, but there is a way you can skip it, and you have to just observe closely. Okay, so there's basically 5 ways that I observe people can skip social classes. Okay, so one of the things is, I mean, these names it's not official name, it's just the name I give. Okay, it's not anything official. Okay, but based on my observation, okay, for people who just went from poor to really wealthy, is through sales. Okay, they're just really good at selling stuff. Okay, a person can have like nothing, and once they get a real estate license, once they get a insurance license, once they get something, and they're just so good at selling, they become the top salesperson in something. Or they just hustle, and then they just sell something online, sell something. They're just very good salespeople. Okay, even the person who has nothing, and then they just go to work at the second car dealership, and then they become the top salesperson, and you know, like good salespeople can skip. Okay, they can make a lot of money really, really, really fast. Okay, there's all kinds of way that, you know, there's like system they can work where they can just make a lot of money very, very fast. Okay, so like, are you a good salesperson? Okay, so if you're really good at sales, then yeah, there's hope for you that you can make a lot of money really quick. Just imagine if you have a real estate license and you sold a house for like a couple million, then how much money do you get? And if you sold like a couple houses the same, you know, caliber, then how much money you will make? Yeah, within 1 year you can make like millions. Okay, it's also like stuff like that. Like if you have what it takes, of course you can, you know, get what you can, right? And another way is inheritance. Okay, so like, some people just become wealthy because they just have a wealthy family and they just got inheritance. Okay, that doesn't really count, you know, like they just get money, free money. Okay, so they can get inheritance. And another way is compensation. Okay, just something that happened to you, something you have some old ass car and it turns out to be like only three in the world, and then you get someone bought it from you, and you there's some junk in your garage and it turns out to be like a diamond or whatever, you know, like just something that you didn't work anything for it, but because of some situation, circumstances, you have the stuff, or you did something, or there's something required of you and you did it, they pay you like millions. Okay, let's say you created something, you created some artwork, some kind of whatever, and someone bought the right from you. They just buy the name from you, buy the brand or whatever, and then they just willing to pay you millions and millions. And say you wrote a song, and so like this kind of stuff is like you didn't really, like, doesn't matter what your intentions are, but the way it happens is that just someone just compensates you for like a lot of money, and all of a sudden you went from 0 to like 100 million. Okay, so it's kind of like that. Like a lot of hustlers, you know, they have story like that, like, you know, I wrote a movie script and all of a sudden people pay me $1 million, or like, you know, I was just I bought this property and then I was digging around, I found this thing, and then like, or like, I have a land and then like the government want to use this to like drill oil and they pay me or something, right? So like this kind of like you just got compensated. Okay, another good example of this is just like stock. Like if you just, like 20 years ago you bought some Apple stock, you don't know what the hell you're doing, and then all of a sudden 20 years later, like, oh, you just sold the stock and you made millions of money, and then like, does that have anything to do with like how skillful you are or whatever? Like you just got compensated for something. You just got lucky, you got compensated for something. Okay, so that's another way you can skip. And then you can also win the lottery. Okay, just someone's just all of a sudden willing to give you a lot of money for no reason. Then yeah, you can gamble. You know, there are people in poker tournament. You know, those people are like not anybody special, but they just really good at playing poker, and then they just, you know, like went to those world poker tournament, they made millions of dollars, eh? And then and there you go, that's their livelihood, $1 million. So, you know, lottery or some kind of free money that's given for you, and then you have all this. Okay. Okay, and another way is entrepreneur. Okay, so entrepreneur is, I guess, is what everybody talks about, because this is like more doable, it's more interesting, and it's being celebrated in society. Like entrepreneur, you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to make money. All the rich people are entrepreneurs. So entrepreneur is another way you can skip. Okay, so basically, like if you're very good at sales and marketing, okay, you can make some money. Let's say you translate your sales and marketing skill into some kind of product and services, like either you start to like, it's basically you start a business. Okay, so this is a traditional way of making money, is you just start a business. Okay, business just means that you know, besides the sales and marketing thing of how you make money, you actually do sales and marketing on the stuff you have. Okay, so you invest in some kind of product, and then because of that you offer some kind of service. Okay, so if you have some product and service, and on top of that you also do the sales and marketing, so this whole thing is just basically a small business. This is a traditional way of making money. It's like you start your own business, right? This is also something people talk about. Oh, well, if you have to make money, then you have to start your own business. Start your own business. Just start your business. You gotta start your own business, make money. So like everybody's starting their own business. But basically, to start a business, you just have to do all those business things, right? There's like a cost, there's investment, there's overhead, there's labor, and then on top, and after you take all the, basic thing to secure the structure of the business, then you can focus on your products, and then you can focus on your service. Okay, and then in order for those things to thrive, you have to be good at like selling your business. You have to be good at marketing. All those takes skills and times and money. And if you're a person that can run a small business, a lot of people, the small business is passed down from like family or from like, if you start a company very early on, then you just continue to carry the business. And then you already know the how to. So a lot of family business is like this. Okay, so this is another example where like, let's say you start a business, okay, but probably your children or the next generation of people that take over the business will be more wealthier than you. Okay, because you grow the business to some extent, and then they just use the resources you have, and then they grow the business more, or they can just destroy it. Either way. But anyway, so it's just that the whatever comes along after you will have better opportunity. Of course, you already laid the foundation. That's the same thing as socioeconomic class. It applies in business as well. The business goes really, 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 really big, very successful, makes like billions of dollars. But you have to know that the previous generation of the business, they didn't make that much. And then the previous generation, the people who founded the company, it was just like one small store, right? Maybe there's a lot of businesses like that, okay? So that's just how you can also skip if you have a small business. But entrepreneur is different, okay? Entrepreneur means that instead they have all the criteria for starting a small business, but they invented some kind of product, they invented some kind of message, they invented some kind of idea, and then they try to push this idea to people, and by asking people to invest in those kind of things. Okay, so kind of like Shark Tank. If you ever go to Shark Tank, all those people on Shark Tank are basically entrepreneur. Okay, so they master the skill of sales and marketing. They have some kind of product and service, but the difference is that the product is their own product. Okay, it's their own inventions, their own ideas. Okay, but they don't really have the capital. Okay, so they're asking for investment. A successful entrepreneur at the end of the day always get big investment. Right? Somebody invests a lot of money for their idea. That's how they run the business, right? If they have the skill to run a business, and they also happen to be entrepreneur, they push their idea, and then it catches on. Someone willing to invest, someone willing to put the money in there, or maybe they already have the money they have. Okay, so that's another thing. A lot of entrepreneurs, they already have the resources. Okay, there is not that many Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg or Steve Jobs, like some of these people are already inherently wealthy. Okay, they have the resources to invest in their idea, and then they already have like people around them that really like support them. Like all the entrepreneurs basically have a very big financial backing. Okay, that might not be that is still something, because like no one will pay anybody anything unless they find it like worthy. Okay, when Jeff Bezos started something, it was just an idea, but later on it started to catch up, right? People are willing to invest, right? When your idea becomes very big, then people start to invest big money into it, right? When Starbucks started, it was just one store. And later on, the ideas catch us, and then more people will start to invest in those ideas, and it becomes very, very huge. Okay. So entrepreneur is another way to skip. Okay, like you can be a nobody, but if you really have a entrepreneur spirit and if you're really a true entrepreneur, and then you can make it, there's a good chance. But the point of all these things is like you have to check yourself. Like, are you those kind of people? Okay, are you good at sale? Do you have resources? Can you run your own business? Do you have are you a true entrepreneur? Okay, so like you have to check yourself. Are you those kind of people? Okay. There's you have to see if you're the Paris Hilton, you're the Kardashian, if you're Donald Trump. Like all those people, they already have they're born into a wealthy family. They're already socialite. Okay, it's easy for them to, the net worth for Paris Hilton and the Kardashian are billions. The net worth is billions. But what kind of what exactly did they do anyway? They just use the leverage of the wealth they already have, become more wealthy. Okay, how are you the next Elon Musk? Are you the next Jeff Bezos? I mean, you have to check yourself. Like, do you have what it takes? This is like not everybody can do that, right? Another way people make a lot of money is just, I would say, just based on like shared talents and passion. Okay, like you can be an artist or entertainer, or and then because you have a passion for something, and then you become famous and popular, and then people are willing to pay. People are willing to like admire you, and like people think what you do is really great, and then naturally things like that happens, and then you will make a lot of money. Okay, you got cast in the movie, you're very beautiful, you're a model, you're very good at writing songs, very good at you can make music, and you're a star. If you're a star, then you can make money. Okay, you can start from like nothing and you can make money. Okay, if you're a star. Okay, are you a star? Right, you have to check yourself. Okay, so the people, once like politicians is a very good example. Like once you become a politician, then all of a sudden you will like become wealthy. Okay, you could be a nobody, but because you got elected in public office, and all of a sudden right, you become wealthy. It could happen that way, but the point is that, do you have what it takes? Are you a politician? Can you be a mayor? Can you be a sheriff? Can you do something? Okay, and of course, there's a nowadays, right, with social media, you can just be an influencer. You make a lot of money, right? But can you be an influencer? There's so many people want to be influencer, right? So many people want to do TikTok. So many people want to do all those things, right? But how many Jake Paul is there? How many like whatever is I don't even know who whatever those people are, like they just literally just make money because they're influencer. Okay, how many Tony Robbins? How many whatever? Okay, so you just see, like, are you those kind of people? Okay, like if you're willing to go through that, right, then that's a good way to make a lot of money, right? I mean, but you have to see who they are, and then you can like, are you inspired to like be like those kind of people? Right? So this is what I'm talking about. It's just like you have to think about like how comfortable you are like with your financial situation. Okay, let's say if you're just an ordinary person like me, if you're just a person with modest means, and how do you navigate the world of like money, and like how do you improve your own financial situation? You don't have to go through all these things, All these things are very like crazy thing. They're a very special thing. They're like 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 it is very right. It takes a lot. Okay, it's quite extraordinary. But you don't have to do it that way. You can be pretty well financially secure with modest means. Okay, of course, if you want to do those things, you're welcome to try. But you really don't have to do that. Also, okay. So when I first started, I didn't think about any of these kind of things. I just follow a very simple method, and then I make enough money to be pretty comfortable. And I'm very grateful because it is already like so much better than what I have. Went from like a person who has no aspiration for better things, no ambition. Went from like a poverty to like having savings. That is a big deal for me. But I realized that for a lot of people, this is not enough. They have this concept or like this I guess this value that the society has put on people, that like, oh, you have to be wealthy, you have to do all this kind of thing, you have to do extraordinary things. Like, look at what these people are doing, look at like they're making a difference. So I think the society keep pushing these ideas on like people that who are not wealthy and make them feel like oh, I have to be an influencer, I have to do something and be something really great and then make a lot of money, and then that's how I be respected and whatever. That's how I can be on the podcast and they'll interview me. Like I feel like there's this teaching that's been going on in society that want to teach people these kind of things, but I feel like because of that, a lot of people just missing out on just doing the fundamental. And if you just live your life in a modest mean, you can make decent money and be comfortable with money and be comfortable with your life. You don't have to struggle. I think that's good for society. Like everyone needs to move from poverty to functional member of society where you have enough money to do the things you want. Okay, that's the least minimum. Okay, but if you always like pushing the idea that you can make so much money, this is the land of opportunity, then people will like they'll try to skip from like nothing to everything, and I think that's harmful. That's not really helpful. Like if you just focus on like your finance, your sensible and modest means, I think that you will like earn so much more than like you have right now. And if you want to make more money, just imagine what you can do with a middle class income. Just imagine what you can do with upper class income. Like from that to become wealthy, to make millions is easy, very, very, very easy. Okay. So I say a lot about that. I hope that makes everything very, very clear. So right now I will talk about the modest means of making money. Okay, so you can do this also. This is actually something that's more realistic. I think anybody can do. But if you don't believe me, you can do other things. But this is what I did. It works out pretty well for me. Okay, so I'll just quickly go through this. Okay, things I look at just on the internet and whatever, just in these past couple years, the pretty much the only thing that I found that is more consistent with just like the traditional or like modest way of looking at personal finance is from Dave Ramsey. Okay, you can just Google him. So his idea of how to just moving from poverty and moving from like just like people with modest means, how they make more money. I think his method is pretty good. I think it's more realistic. Like if you just follow his method, it works out really well. It's basically just focus on like working, savings, investing, and not having any debt, and then just continue to do that, and then start young. I mean, start when you're like younger, not like, of course the younger you start, better. But if you're older, you can start, is also okay. Like his method has pretty good method that you will be like pretty financially comfortable if you just follow his method. So you can Google it. I'm not gonna go over like what he say. But there's another thing I also want to talk about is budgeting. Okay, so budgeting is something that will help you get a grip on your finance. Like it will help you like tremendously. It will actually make you like have more money if you just learn to budget. Okay, when I started to make more money, I didn't budget. I was just like, oh, I make so much money, I don't need budget. Like I can afford this. And if I can't afford it, I'll just like make more money. And I didn't budget. Okay, I waste so much money. Okay, when I started to budget, I actually have more money because I simply just budget. Okay, just like instead of buying this now, I just like save enough money and then I can buy it later. But then while you're doing that, like you just have more money because you're just budgeting. When you budget, you're gonna have surplus. Okay, so the way I budget is very simple. I don't have I look up some stuff on the whatever. There's some budgeting system that's a little complicated, and there's some little places that's confusing. But I just use the 1/3 method. Okay, you can take this into consideration, but this is pretty easy. Basically, just you divide all your income. Let's say like monthly. Monthly is probably the one that makes more sense. But let's say you divide all your income monthly. All your monthly income, you just divide it into 1/3. Okay, so the first into 3 part. Equal part. The first part will just be your living expense. Okay, that's your rent, your mortgage, or whatever. Like the money required to live, to stay at a place, or So that's the first part. The second part is to pay for your bills. Okay, if you have any bills, that's any bills. Any bills that give you a deadline. Your credit card has deadline. Your car payment has deadline. Your insurance has deadline. Your taxes has deadline. Any kind of like whatever, Netflix or any phone bills or internet, any kind of bills you have a deadline. You just 1/3 of your income will use to pay for your bills, and then another 1/3 of your income was just for you to buy stuff. Okay, that's like food and whatever, if you need shoes and whatever, if you want to go party and like whatever. Okay, and then you just divide all your money like that. Okay, and then by the end of the month, let's say if you spend all the money or you have money left over, you just put that into savings and you just roll that over to next month. Okay, so you can just see that like throughout the year, if you just budget like this, then every month you have more money, because if you just roll those money over to the next month, then the next month you have more money, but you just stick to your budget. Like whatever monthly income you have for that month, you just keep the same number, and you just spend money based on those number, and all the extra money you just save and you just roll over to next month. Okay, and then when one day your car broke down, one day you need to see a doctor, one day you need to whatever, then all those money that you have saved, you just use that to pay for that. So when you start to do that, you realize you have so much money. Okay, so this is just a very simple method I use all the time. I just do that, and then when let's say that another perspective is that, let's say you divide your monthly income into 3 parts just like this, but you realize that you like the amount of rent you pay, the whatever you pay, it exceeded like 1/3 part of your income. Then what you have to do is that you have to make more income. Just go make more money. Go work more. Go try to figure out how to make more money. Okay, otherwise you have to just downgrade your living expense so that that your living condition will fall under 1/3 of your income. Okay, this is important. Okay, so you have to realize that like if you don't have money to live luxuriously, like don't do it. You know, just wait till you have enough money to do that, and then you can do that. If you just follow this method, like okay, so let's say you make $3,000 a month, and then like your rent is like $2,000, and then like you divide 3,000 into like like 1/3, and then it's like you only have $1,000 for like living, and you're living like $2,000, so you're already like over budget. Okay, so you have to like move. Okay, you have to like adjust your income, or you have to like lower your standard of living. Okay, that's just why you have to do the budget. If you don't budget, you will like waste so much money. Okay, you will not make any money. If you want to make money, you have to budget. Okay, and once you start making money, then you can live in a better place. You can live luxuriously. You can buy the stuff you want. Okay, so budgeting is truly something very important. Okay, I paid off like all my debt because I budget. Okay, highly recommend. Okay, so another thing is donation. Okay, so when I started to like make donation just to charity or whatever, I realized that it helps me like organize my finance like more efficiently. Okay, and I'm not sure why it's like counterintuitive. You know, if you want to have more money, why will you give money away? But I based on my experience, I feel like when you give money to a good cause that you believe in, or like you just give money to like help out the society, or just donate money to give to charity or to something that you believe in. It doesn't have to be charity per se, but my point is that part of your money you have to like give to the less fortunate, to help the world, or something, some kind of stuff you believe in. Okay, and this amount is based on like what you can afford. Okay, you don't have to like give a lot of money. Like if you can just give $1, just give $1. You know, it like just have an aspect of your finance where you give. Don't just keep everything yourself. Have some aspect of your finance that you give. Okay, and then the stuff you give, it should be something that's so big that you can never like fix it. Okay, if you give money to the environment, that you can just give money for the rest of your life, and you're not gonna fix it. Or just like you know, just dedicate to a cause that's like so large that like no financial means can fix it, just so you can just always like make donation. You know, like just try to feed the hungry children in Africa or something. Like I donate my money to some environmental thing which I know will never be fixed, but I just did it anyway because it's just beyond me. It's bigger than what I can like fix with my money. And that's the key. Like once you give to something that's like larger than you, like in terms of like finance, like let's say like if someone asks you for money, they ask you for like a couple thousand. Okay, you give them a couple thousand, then it's done. Okay, but if someone asks you money that, oh, we need money to fight like homelessness, and then you can give whatever you want, man, anything help. You can give money for the rest of your life, and then probably the problem will not be fixed. But the point is that it is something that's beyond you, something that's bigger than you. And when you give money, you know that your money will not make a difference, but you give anyway. Okay? And I feel like when you do that, like somehow your money will be disciplined. You will not waste money. You will not like you will save money. You will not like spend money like carelessly. Like the money will somehow be like confined to like a safe zone. Like there's no money. Like money will not be wasted. It will not like leak out. Like I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like the psychology that you know that like there's never enough money, so subconsciously or whatever, you just like don't spend any money, you don't waste money. Like I don't know what it is, but I feel like when you give money, it helps with your finance. Like it makes you like not to waste money. It makes you like more disciplined with money. It makes you look at the stuff you buy, look at how much you spend, it makes you like think about how much money you want to make. Like I don't know, like when you give something, when you give your money, it helps secure your money. Okay, so I will highly recommend that like you also try this. So make income, find your whatever is comfortable for you. If you're not happy with your finance, try to make money so like you can be happy. Budgeting and just give some money to somebody. Give. So that's my tips on what I want to say about money. Okay, something for you to think about. Now finally, the 5-minute thing that I talk about just takes 5 minutes to talk about. Okay, so this is what I did. Okay, so you can just get a notebook or whatever, and then basically you draw a big circle, and then inside that circle you can just put $sign or you put money or whatever. Okay, so this circle represents all the money you have. Okay, so all the money you have in your life, or all the money you have like right now. Okay, so this money, from this money, you will use it to finance your goal, like whatever goal you set for yourself or whatever you want to do with your life. Like this is the money you use. Okay, so when you look at this, you will know that like the purpose of money is for you to live your life. Okay, the purpose of money is not for no reason. You're not just hoarding it. You're not because you're just greedy. Like the money has a relationship to your life. Like the money is your life. Like whatever you want to do with it, you use this to finance your life. Okay, so this circle of money is linked to your goal. So write your goals on the bottom, and just like draw lines to like just connect it. Okay, and then on top of this money circle, draw like a couple of circles. This circle represents your source of income. Okay, so just think about all the way you make money. Like how do you make your money? And that is your source of income. Let's say you have a job. Okay, so in that circle you just write your job. Okay, and then draw a line to connect to your money. And then that is your source of income. And when you look at this, you'll realize that you only have one source of income. Okay, and that's why you're poor. Okay, so the game is that you want to have as many sources of income as possible. Okay, I don't care what it is. Okay, just start with 3 circles. You need to have at least 3 sources of income. I don't care what it is. Just figure it out. Figure out some bullshit you want to do to make money. Okay, you cannot just have one source of income. Okay, unless you're very happy. But anyway, so that's what I did. When I have no money, I just drew the circle, and I realized that, man, I only have one source of income. How am I gonna get rich if I have one source of income? So I just got another job. So once I have another job, that's another source of income. That's like 2 sources of income. It's like, oh my god, I have like 2 sources of income. Okay, but it doesn't have to be a job. It can be anything. Okay, so just start out with like 3 circles, and just start to like write what it is your idea. You wanna do. You wanna sell something. You wanna like do Uber. You wanna like go work for something, or you wanna like there's all kinds of stuff, right? Like for me, I just have a bunch of idea, and I'll just write it in the circle, and then those are like my financial goal. Stuff I put down will be like job number 1, job number 2, job number 3. Like working extra job is just automatically extra source of income. And then I'll write like Uber. Uber will be another source of income. I'll write like high interest savings, because you can make money from that. I'll write some kind of like investment. So I wrote a circle where I say I want investment property. I want to rent out like property to people so I can make money. But I drew this circle, but it wasn't completed yet. But I just put it on my list of my like financial goal, and then now that becomes my source of income. When I start to have investment property, then then that's my source of income. My 401k is my source of my source of income. It's not right now, but obviously, like, if you put money, that's later on, it's your money. I have investment. I have like Roth IRA, and I have like other ideas. I put on this. Like whatever it is, you wanna buy and sell something. You wanna teach something. I have some business idea my friend wanted to do with me. I put that in a circle. I don't know if it will complete it, but then it's just something for me to think about. Like, you just wanna like create more source of income, as many as you can, to like finance your life, to finance your dream. Okay, so you put that on the paper, then you can look at it every day. You can think about it. Okay. It doesn't have to be anything. If someone say that, oh, can you just come and like babysit, can you just come like walk my dog, that's your source of income. Like I have job number 1, job number 2, and I walk the dog. That's your extra source of income. You can do some like side hustle. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. Like you have to constantly just think about like what you want to do, like with your money. Okay, and then try to have more than, the important thing is try to have more than just one source of income. Okay, the best way is just to get an extra job. Okay, so job is not really about like how many jobs you have. You have to look at the hours. Okay, like typical is like what, like 40 hours a week. But if you just do 40 hours a week, you'll realize that you have a lot of time. Not only you have like free time during the day, but you also have like 2 days off, guys. 2 days off a week and working 40 hours. Like, what are you gonna do with all this time? Those are like opportunity. You can do something. Like, so just like think about it. Like job number 1, job number 2, job number 3. It's not about how many jobs you have. It's just like how much time you want to utilize to make something happen. Okay, and it doesn't have to be job. Like, if you can, like I have friends that like just do day trading. They just dedicate their whole morning to do like day trading. That's another source of income for them. And on the side, they work and then they do something else, and whatever, blah blah blah. So like you constantly think about just like how many like source of income you have. The more you have, obviously, the more money you will make. And this can change like over time. It doesn't have to be like constant. You have to just look at this every so often. Every time you have a new idea, write it down on paper. Something that can make you money, you can do it. Okay, so that's what I do. I use this method for like 5 years, and then man, it works out great. I was about to accomplish like all the things I wanted to do, and then going back to the comfort level, right? I'm pretty comfortable with my situation, but this can always be more. But the point is that you have to do it sensibly. Okay, unless you have really, 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 really great opportunity. Okay, that's something you just keep your eyes out. Otherwise, it is step by step. Based on my experience, it's step by step. It's nothing fancy, nothing crazy. It's always step by step. Okay, so that's all I want to say about money. And then for your consideration, I talk about a lot here. So really up to you to make up your mind. But if you really want something to happen right away, just to think about another source of income and just make it happen. And then you'll make more money. Okay, and that's it.